Welcome, everybody, to Start Sit Different Day. I am Josh Hudson, your host, back this week. Week 3, all the injuries. So get ready for a lot of questions on which backup we should start. We have Hutchinson Brown from Footballguys and DLF joining us today. Drop all of your Start Sit questions into the chat, and let's get those Week 3 W's. Stay tuned. Welcome, everybody. This is Start Sit Different Day here on Club Fantasy FFL. I'm your host, Joshua Hudson. I know nobody missed me last week because this is what Joe does. He boxes me out and says, fuck Josh. And then puts me on the wrong side of the screen, you asshole.
Don't worry, I already have a joke for you. Are you super excited? By your haircut, I figure you're super excited about Linkin Park's newest single.
You know what's funny? I actually have not heard it yet. So.
Oh, that's okay. I haven't either, but it looks like you're gearing up for the world tour. You getting your tickets to Germany for the opening show? Or what are we doing? Most people wake up and by 11 a.m. they have their hair done. You said no.
No, I'll do it after the show. I gotta be at work like right after we get off air. So I'm gonna like style it up really quick and then be done with it. But instead of talking about my hair, let's introduce our guest. Hutch, how you doing today, bud?
Yo, this is one of the wackiest intros I've ever seen. Like the first sentence was an F-bomb dropped, and then you two are going after each other. This is great.
Yeah.
Super stoked to be here.
This is what we do at Club Fantasy.
Caesar's excited. Vans Warped Tour coming back. Yeah. Josh is the fucking stagehand on the main stage.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is what happens when I have to go to work right after a show and I can't wear a hat. So there you go, Emma. You're calling the shots. There you go. First time not wearing an Eagles hat. I do every once in a while mix in like my Miami Hurricanes or my New York Yankees hats, but yeah, typically the Eagles hats here. So all right, before we get into our injury list, I do want to pay a couple bills really quick. Want to shout out our sister site, Women of Fantasy Football, and our partnership with Trophy Smack. Head to trophysmack.com/WOFF. That's WOFF. Use that unique affiliate link. Any commissions we make, it goes towards everything that we're trying to do with Women of Fantasy Football and sending our ladies to events like the Super Bowl, the Combine, the NFL Draft, all the different NFL media credentials, all that good stuff. And from now until September 24th, so you only have about 3 more days, really. When you buy a trophy or championship belts, enter code WOFF, WOFF at checkout and get yourself a free championship ring. TrophySmack.com/WOFF, WOFF, championship belts, rings, trophies, wall smack. Send the losers of your leagues every week a nice little greeting card thanking them for being in your league and making your life easier. All that good stuff they have over at TrophySmack.com/WOFF. That's WOFF. And I'll leave that ticker at the bottom of the screen for the rest of the show. And I see a whole bunch of questions in here, which is great. Keep them coming. This show literally is nothing without you guys dropping your start sit questions. So, Joe, I'm going to kick it over to you, and let's read off some injuries before we start getting into all these questions.
All right. So just go to the waiver wire because you don't have anybody that's available. Your quarterbacks, Herbert, Wilson, Love, questionable. Love I would be shocked if he plays. They are keeping Russell Wilson on the injury report until Justin Fields fucks up and Mike Tomlin cannot hurt the ego of Russell Wilson, and then he can play him by saying, oh, his calf's magically healed. And Justin Herbert, known to play through injury. We'll see what happens there. Tajay Spears, questionable. Joe Mixon, doubtful. Probably not playing. Raheem Mostert, Kenneth Walker, same game, doubtful. Probably not playing. And Dameon Pierce is officially out. It is Cam Akers' backfield for the Houston Texans this week. Receivers, A.J. Brown, Jordan Addison, Deebo Samuel, Keenan Allen, Cooper Kupp. Nobody you drafted inside the first 5 rounds, but they're all out. And then Michael Pittman and Josh Palmer also questionable. Palmer's been questionable every single week. He should be okay to go. And then at the tight end position, Taysom Hill, you're welcome. I included you, you dickhead. You're questionable. And David Njoku is officially out for the Cleveland Browns. I double-checked. Jake Ferguson was a full participant in practice. There is no injury designation for him, so he should be good to go against Baltimore.
Well, so much for the Luke
great.
Schoonmaker hype.
Yeah. One thing I'll say real quick to Michael Pittman, his injury was so late in the week. Like this was a pop-up very, very late. So this is one like you say questionable. It's like, oh, he'll probably play. Usually questionable means they'll play. Pittman's one I'm actually concerned about. He popped up very
same
late this
situation with AJ Brown from last week. I
Correct.
wouldn't
Yeah.
feel all that confident there. But
I'm
then again,
mostly-
Pittman hasn't done shit anyway through 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, Pittman is almost unstartable at this point right now, even if he plays.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, let's get into these questions. Let's start with Gator J since he dropped in a couple before we even went live. Brandon Ayuk, Jerry Jeudy, or JSN? It's a 1 quarterback start 9.
If you could
Hutch,
start 9, you
who
could
you
start
going
all
with
of
here?
them. So why is this a question?
Yeah, right.
I think I would play. It's between Ayuk and JSN. And JSN had a fantastic breakout last week. It was great to see. I would play Brandon Ayuk here, though. I am confident in this banged. I'm not confident, I would say, in this banged up LA Rams defense. And given the injuries to George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Ayuk is set up, to have a massive, massive week 3 after the first 2 weeks of getting back into football because he missed all the practices. Ayuk would be the guy I would want to play here.
Joe.
JSN.
I get it. It's close.
I was going to say, I like both Brandon Ayuk and JSN, but
Yeah, both are great.
With everybody on that San Francisco offense gone, I don't know how Brandon Ayuk isn't the answer, truthfully. Like, he's going to see literally every target.
It's still preseason game number 2 for Brandon Ayuk, so that's why he's not going to see anything and take
Preseason
over.
game number 3.
No. I know.
3.
I'm fully aware of what I said. Dropping a fucking dime in the back of the end zone week 1, that's week 0 in college football right there. So he's on preseason week 2.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. I would say, honestly, I'm fine with either Ayuk or JSN. I think both will have a good game. So is this the week I start Bowers over Kelsey? Gator, you should already be starting Bowers over Kelsey, but I'll let everybody else chime in. Hutch.
Why do you have... Sorry, Hutch. You go.
I would completely agree. Bowers is the one you start.
Why do you have 2 tight ends? Why?
I'm guessing this is a dynasty league. That's probably why.
Oh, sure. Okay, fine. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, Travis Kelce's at this point fully droppable. He has 4 points. Every kicker in the NFL currently employed has more fantasy points than Travis Kelce this season. And I say employed because Cade York is not employed, but Cade York still had more points going into week 2 than Travis Kelce did. Unemployed, yet Cade York. You don't fucking know his name.
Tight end show, apparently.
It's anti-tight end always. He's tight end 40-fucking-8. What?
The breakout is coming. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yes, yeah. I can't wait for 5 for 10 yards.
This is the same situation as those that have Kelsey last year with Sam Laporta, right? It was a constant back and forth of when you were going to start him. Just roll with Bowers. He's going to be the tight end.
Yeah, Bowers is the guy's playing better.
Maybe they should use a couple of the plays that Taylor drew up because apparently it's fucking better than whatever Andy Reid's drawing up for this guy right now.
Could very well be.
Noah Gray has more fantasy points than Travis Kelce this season. Noah Gray.
From Brocal. Non-PPR. Flex 1. T. Higgins. Jaden Reed. Alexander Madison. Deonta Foreman. Cam Akers. Demarcus Robinson. Hutch.
Oh, gosh. I mean, if Love goes, you probably have to flex Jaden Reed. I mean, the first couple games we saw with Reed and Love together were fantastic. He had big plays down the field. He was a red zone threat. But if it's Malik Willis, you don't want to start Jaden Reed. I would probably look at, man, that's actually really, really difficult. I would probably look at Cam Akers, as gross as that is to say. I think Cam Akers is going to get the volume this week for the Houston Texans. He looked good in preseason. He looked quite impressive in preseason to me, honestly. And with Pierce and Joe Mixon likely to miss, it looks like Akers is going to be the guy I would play Akers.
Akers in the standard.
Yeah, and it's because of the standard.
Definitely Akers in the standard.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning. He's going to see the most volume. I mean, I do love Jaden Reed. I think even without Love, I think he probably has the most upside of anybody. But Higgins is going to play. It's Monday night. God, that Washington defense is terrible. It's really hard to want to sit him. But coming off of the hamstring injury,
we don't even know if he's going to play.
Play is definitely Akers.
Standard. It's
Yeah.
you'd go with the running back every time in standard.
Yeah, standard you go with the RB. That's
Every
right.
time. Especially when he has no competition. He has zero competition in that backfield. So you roll with that guy.
Yep. All right. Is Kieran Williams a must start this week? He's worried the Rams will be one-dimensional with no passing game without Puka and Cooper Kupp. How you feeling about Kieran this week, Hutch?
I mean, I've never been a Kyron fan throughout the entire offseason. I've been a guy that's, really off of him, but I can't see a world where you're benching him given the running back landscape, given where we're at. I feel, he's just been the guy for the first 2 weeks. We saw Blake Corum get 8 carries last week, but they were all late in the fourth quarter when the game was already over. When the game was competitive, Kyron was the guy getting all the touches. And if you have a running back like that on your team, it's hard to bench him.
I love guys that get 2.5 yards per carry. It's awesome.
No, it's terrible. It's truly terrible. Touchdowns
love
have
it.
saved Kyron Williams, but it's like the volume is there and you have to play him.
Yeah.
If you're asking this question, I have to imagine you don't have a better option.
You don't.
I mean, Kieran was likely one of your top 2 running backs drafted. So
yes. So
Definitely.
what I would recommend is go pick up Cam Akers because nobody has him, and start Cam Akers. I don't like Kieran Williams right now overall as a player. If you're banking on a touchdown, that's not a good thing to bank on. San Francisco has looked solid so far outside of, Aaron Jones a couple times ripping him up. But Minnesota, for some reason, always gives good teams little fits like that due to Brian Flores. It doesn't matter. This 49ers team is going to absolutely run over them, and the Rams are going to have to throw the football. I'm not starting a guy with 2.5 yards per carry. I was never a Kieran guy going into the season, but I would look to get Cam Akers.
I would agree with Joe. If you can get Cam Akers, I would start Cam Akers over Kyron Williams this week. But Cam Akers to me is looking like a top 20 option. So not a lot of fantasy teams, given the injuries, the running back position, given just the lack of, availability for running backs. Like not everyone has 3 top 20 options or 2 top 20 options they can start over Kyron. So that was my main point when talking about Kyron. Is probably a must start.
Yeah.
But I agree, Joe. Cam Akers I would put over Kyron.
Yeah, same. All right. PPR. Wide receivers are JSN, Rashid Shaheed, Jalen Waddle. Who would you start amongst those 3? Hutch.
Well, and then the next thing is a flex, Tony Pollard or one of the remaining. I think you have to, in this situation, be starting Jackson Smith-Njigba of the wide receivers. The breakout last week was too phenomenal. When you look at, I was looking at not only his routes, but you look at the graph on Next Gen Stats, his routes. He was running routes from every area of the field, running routes at every place of the field, running downfield, short routes, literally everything. He was so involved in the offense, and it's really hard to sit him after that week. I'm going to play JSN over Rashid Shaheed over Jalen Waddle. And I would flex Tony Pollard with Tyjae Spears injured. He might miss this game. And Pollard so far this year, even with Spears on the field, has been the clear lead. He's been a top 12 running back in fantasy points per game over the first 2 games. He's the guy to start in this Titans backfield. And he's the one that's been dominant for fantasy. So JSN and Pollard are my guys here.
Joe.
I am so tempted to start Shaheed and JSN, but
fair.
I'll go JSN and Pollard. I like Pollard a lot this week. Ironically, I think Tyjae Spears being out doesn't help him because we all know Pollard works better in a split backfield. But against Green Bay, their run defense has been
awful,
horrid this year. They could vie for one of the worst in the NFL throughout the season. So Pollard and JSN for the consistency. There was really nobody you were playing against Thursday night that was going to need to put you down in a hole. So it's not like you need Shaheed and his major upside. So I would go JSN and Pollard.
Yeah, I'm with you 3 on, or you 2 on that one. All right, start 2. Jalen Waddle, Tank Dell, Rashid Shaheed, and that's actually JSN.
JSN, yeah.
Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Well, it's start 2, Joe. You have to play another one.
No, I know it's Himothy. Sorry.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Jackson Smith-Njigba.
I thought he just didn't read the question.
No,
I would play JSN first out of these options, and then secondly, as much as I've been a Tank Dell stan this offseason, it hasn't been productive so far for fantasy, and the Minnesota defense has played quite well. Rashid Shaheed and the Saints offense have been rolling. I would play Shaheed over Dell and pair him with JSN for this week. Waddle's just, you can't trust Waddle with Skylar Thompson at quarterback. It's impossible.
I don't think you can trust Jalen Waddle with Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, it's been hard. It's been hard it's been hard to trust him with Tua too.
This is a clean sweep. I'll answer for Joss. It's Shea, Sen, and Shaheed.
Yep, that is correct. All right, from Rams House.
Oh boy.
Dynasty, 12 team, full PPR, super flex.
Oh my god.
Would it be dumb to trade Javonte Williams, Puka Nacua, Jake Ferguson, and a whole lot of draft picks?
A whole lot of fucking
We're just going to leave it at that.
Oh, man.
For Nico Collins, J.K. Dobbins, Brock Bowers, and Adam Thielen. Hutch.
Wow. Looking at this trade, I'm going to go with the Collins. My initial take, it's a lot of pieces. I'm looking at the Collins, Dobbins, Bowers side as the side you want to take here. Nico Collins and Brock Bowers, I think you could argue, are the two best pieces of this trade. I think you could argue that. Puka Nacua is a fantastic asset in fantasy football, but he's going to miss, depending on how the Rams continue to do, he could miss a lot of this regular season. It would be shocking if the Rams, starting off with a really poor record, and they're like, well, why not keep Nacua bench? There's no reason to force him back in the game right now. And then 2 first projected to be late, but Collins and Bowers are. Collins has taken his game to a new level this year. I don't know if you guys have been able to watch him more. I've gone back and watched his last couple games. I've seen the stats. They've been mind-blowing. But watching him play, he's taken his game to another level. He is one of the elite wide receivers in football. And Brock Bowers might be the best tight end in football right now. He really is an elite asset, and he's only a rookie. He's only going to get better. So Collins and Bowers is the side I want here. You're getting possibly the two best assets of this trade.
Go.
That's so many draft picks.
It's a lot of draft picks.
That's so many draft picks.
It is a lot of draft picks. It's hard, but
how I'm seeing this, Puka for Nico Collins. Pick your side there. I really don't. Pick your side. They're both good. Ferguson for Bowers. Bowers better than Ferguson. Dobbins for Javonte. Feels just kind of like a wash right now, because especially J.K. Dobbins is good for maybe 3 or 4 more games. He's way too injury prone. I'm not saying Javonte isn't, but you also think a little bit toward, you're getting rid of your future for J.K. Dobbins and Adam Thielen. That's all I'm thinking in my head is you're getting rid of your future, unless you are 2-0 and the rest of your team is stacked and you're very confident that you're winning this year, you're playing for a championship. Dobbins and Thielen are dead next year. They're dead next year. They're nobody. And you're not going to have a first or a second, unless you have more picks, then maybe. But you're going to have a first or a second the next 2 years, and then you're not going to have a third in 26. It's not setting you up well. If you're 1-1 and you just eked out a win, or you're 0-2, this does not make sense to me. If you're 2-0 and you feel extremely confident that you can win this year, and you're winning hand over fist, it's not even close, you've won by 20, 30 points, then I would make that trade. I would try and maybe keep a couple of these picks. I would maybe get rid of Thielen in this whole thing and get rid of the 3rd and the 4th and just do Collins, Dobbins, Bowers for the 1st and 2nd, and then the 3 other players. Thielen just feels like a throw-in. I don't think you need him. This is very situational here. You're getting rid of a lot. You need to be sure as fucking hell confident that you're winning this year. That's the only way that I make this trade for Nico and Brock Bowers.
Yeah,
I think J.K. Dobbins is a coin flip, and Adam Thielen's a throwaway.
You are trading away a lot of your future potential here with the first couple of rookie picks. But the problem is Nico Collins and Brock Bowers are future ascending assets. These are guys that are young, explosive, and players that are going to only grow over the next couple of years in dynasty value. Like, these are players that are going to help you for the next handful of seasons. It's not more than that. So I see what you're saying, but I think the value still for me is on that Collins Bauer side. Like I said before, those seem easily the two best assets of the trade. Not easily, but the two best assets of this trade.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of dynasty trades, right? You're trying to improve. You're getting the best players. That's Collins and Bowers here.
Yep.
Really, it feels like you're giving away Puka at a discount, which sucks, but that's what happens.
It does. Yeah, you're selling low.
So, I literally had somebody yesterday offer me 2 firsts straight up for Brock Bowers, and I said no. That's where his value is right now. He's the best young asset in fantasy football. So I don't think this trade is really that far off. Yeah, I agree with Joe in the sense that giving up that many draft picks definitely sucks. Thielen, Dobbins probably not going to have a ton of value after this year. But you know what? Maybe Javonte doesn't have a ton of value after this year either. That's just the life cycle of a running back.
Agent.
Exactly. And Dobbins only signed a 1-year deal as well. So their situations could very well change next year. So I kind of look at those two as a wash. Thielen is basically the 2025 fourth. And at that point, it's Collins and Bowers for Puka and a bunch of draft picks. Like, I'm okay with it, depending on what the rest of my team looks like. But, you know, at the end of the day, if you're competing and you have Puka, he's not helping you. So you need to make a deal so that you can continue to compete. Getting Collins and Bowers is how you do that.
And that's why I said that. If you're 2-0 and you feel good, then make the trade. But if you're sitting there 1-1, you eked out a win, your rest of your team's not good, or you're 0-2, this doesn't make sense for an 0-2 team to make this trade. It doesn't, because you need something in your future. If you still want to go get Collins or Bowers, all power to you. I'm okay with trading draft picks for those guys, but Puka Nacua is in his second year. He is one of the best receivers in the NFL, still attached to Stafford, who, as much as we want him to retire, his ass ain't going nowhere. He is going to be playing as long as he willingly can. So you attach him there. Cooper Kupp is nearing the time where his time is going to be coming up as well. I don't know. It feels like a lot. I'm okay trading the draft picks. I don't like giving up Puka for that. Again, if you're not good, I'm 0-2 in Dynasty. I'm not making that trade. If I'm 2-0, smash it. Because then you get two assets that are going to help you, make you better and help you win.
That's fair. All right, Elixirs. Standard. Start one.
STDs.
Brian Robinson, Jerome Ford, or pick up Charbonnet off waivers. We do that. He would need to drop one, Kareem Hunt, Ford, Keon Coleman, or one of the Ravens, Raiders defense. Hutch, let's start with you.
You should not have two defenses on your roster. Drop one of the
No,
defenses.
no. You should, because the Raiders play the Panthers this week. That's why he has two defenses. I'll give him that.
But you can start the Raiders for the next 4 weeks, though.
Yeah,
the Raiders defense for the next handful of weeks is a great schedule. But I don't think you should have two defenses on your roster. I mean,
so
unless
dropping the Ravens.
I would drop
Easy.
the Ravens defense here
Easy.
because the thing is like, unless your defensive scoring is crazy, you can find great defenses on the waiver wire every single week. Like, assuming your defensive scoring is normal, you can find great defense on the waiver wire every week. And the Ravens are not an advantageous defense. They're actually one of the worst passing defenses in the NFL right now, if I remember correctly.
Horrible.
They're not great. The Raiders' defensive schedule over the next handful of weeks is great. I mean, I know they get Denver, Carolina soon. They have a really good schedule the next handful of weeks. So drop the Ravens defense. I'd pick up Charbonnet and play him. I mean, with Kenneth Walker probably out again, you're looking at a workhorse role, and it's going to be ineffective, but he gets a lot of receiving work, and he has a nose for the end zone. The Seattle Seahawks are running the football a ton when they're in the red zone right now.
I'm picking up Charbonnet regardless and dropping the Ravens defense. They're fully droppable. They're not good this year, and I would find a way to play both Robinson and Charbonnet if you can. If I'm
one.
Sorry,
I didn't see B Rob at the front. Robinson over Charbonnet for me. Yeah.
If I'm picking one, I like that. I mean, there's again no competition for Charbonnet in the backfield. There's not much competition for carries for Brian Robinson. Eckler will steal the passing work, but obviously standard, we don't really care about that. I think both of them have the same rough touchdown upside. I would find a way to get both of them in the lineup if you can. If I'm picking one, I'll go Charbonnet. Miami's defense, holy God, did they look bad last week. And if Charbonnet can replicate half of what James Cook did, you're going to be golden there.
Yeah, you're good. Especially
Here's a new wrinkle. Here's a new wrinkle.
I'll go for
His
it.
RB1 is Kieran Williams.
You're sitting Kieran Williams and starting Brian Robinson and Zach Charbonnet. Thank you. Come again.
100% you are. Yeah, you're benching Kyron at this point. I mean, you're benching Kyron. Yeah, it's really difficult.
Elixirs, fun fact: Kieran's your RB5 now. I don't know if you knew that. He's actually your RB5 now.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, no, I would be starting Robinson and Charbonnet over.
This week, easily, no doubt. The Rams will have matchups where Kieran Williams will play well. I'm not shitting heavily on Kieran Williams. He's not a bad player. But this week he has a horrible matchup. You go Robinson and Charbonnet.
Especially considering the offensive line of the Rams, they are so messed up right now, man. They are
down
so
3 starters, I think.
Down 3 starters. The 49ers defensive line has some big playmakers on it. They're not going to handle that. That matchup's going to be so bad.
Yes.
Yeah, it's B-Rob and Charbonnet for me as well.
Yep.
All right. Before we answer Caesar's question really quick,
I love that.
I do want to mention, if you haven't already, subscribe the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We just hit 1,240 subs on YouTube. Very much appreciated. We love each and every one of you. Definitely see a few new names in this chat, but some friendly faces as well. And also, we do have our super chat feature, so feel free to use that because that's going to bump you straight to the top of the line when it comes to answering your questions. We try to do these in order, but we will gladly skip the line for a little tip money. You know, we like coffee and drinks, right?
We like whoring ourselves out.
There you go. We will gladly whore ourselves out.
Yeah.
All right, Hutch, you going with Malik Neighbors or Devontae Adams?
That's a really great question. I loved seeing Malik Neighbors last week. 18 targets, 67% target share, 100 plus yards, and a touchdown. But that was against the Commanders, and this week against the Browns, who are a much worse passing defense. I mean, much better passing defense. And looking at what their offense can do, they can't put up tons of points. This is likely going to be a game that I wouldn't be surprised if we were under 30 points in this game. I mean, it's probably going to be bad. Not expecting a fun game from Daniel Jones. And I could see a frustrating game for Malik Neighbors because of Daniel Jones' struggles. I would play Devontae Adams against the Panthers, who are a hopeless NFL franchise right now.
I want to say Devontae. I'm just worried that they get up 21-0 in the first.
That is the only thing that concerns me is that if they get up really quick and then they run the football all game long, which Antonio Pierce likes to do, they would be that would be a bad situation. But the thing is, if they get up 20-0, that means Devontae Adams had a part in it, right? I mean, if they get up 20-0, Devontae Adams likely he's having a part in it. Not necessarily, but I mean,
this is Amir White week. What are we talking about here?
No, Amir White's a great start this week. Honestly, I see him as a fantastic start. But looking, I think that Devontae Adams is gonna be able to do enough. I think there's enough for him here.
They the Raiders don't stop when their foot's on your throat. They just push down harder, which is nice. So I will go Devontae. I'm still hot and cold on Denzel Ward. There's weeks where he looks like the best cornerback in the NFL, and there's other weeks where he looks like he's playing with his eyes closed and his helmet backwards. So it's really hard to pick those weeks, but it's hard to pick that week when Daniel Jones is your quarterback. CeeDee Lamb can toast him, and Neighbors is one of the shiftiest in the NFL, but he doesn't have Dak Prescott at least dropping the ball in good spots for him. Devontae. You got to hope for a touchdown, though. You need an early touchdown from him.
I'm going to ride with Neighbors. He's seeing a 60% target share in that offense
He was at 60. Last week, he was at 67% of Daniel Jones' targets. And I'm pretty sure he was over 50% of the yards.
Josh saying Neighbors makes me so much more confident in Devontae Adams. So.
And you know what? You're probably not wrong either. You're
so much more confident.
The way that the Panthers have played defense, they're such a sieve when it comes to the running game that their metrics against wide receivers always look so much better because teams just don't feel a need to throw because they can just run down.
Quentin Johnston scored 2 touchdowns against them.
So. Yeah, I was about to say. So here's the thing: if you can get a Quentin Johnston 3 catches and 60 yards for 2 touchdowns, then you're chilling. Because
Devontae Adams can very much do that. I'm not disagreeing with that by any means. But it just, to me, it feels like you're banking on a 5-target game and hoping for 2 touchdowns when I know that Neighbors is going to see 10+ targets.
They might not be good.
Yeah, but if he sees 10+ targets and catches 4 of them because Daniel Jones sucks,
and that's also very much a possibility. Yeah. But the good news is that Neighbors is typically 30 yards down the field. So
and Daniel Jones's ball is only 15 yards down the field, so that's a real issue.
I want to bring up this last bit from Ram's house because we were answering his dynasty question. He is 2-0, won the league last season.
You make the trade.
He's got a lot of pieces here. I'm making this trade. I don't care about the draft picks. You're in win now mode. Go for the repeat.
Yeah, it's not even. You have Allen and Burrow as your 2 super flex QBs. Yeah, you go. You make the trade.
You make the
easily. Easily, you make.
Jamar Chase and Burrow are about to absolutely dominate this week.
Yeah, you make that.
Yes, sir. All right, from Oscar, he traded Kyle Pitts and Tank Dell. Got Jamar Chase. Thoughts? But he remains out with the tight end. Obviously, it's kind of a crappy situation. He does have Hutchinson on the IR. Who would you be looking to roll with to survive while Hutchinson rests up? Zach Ertz, Gesicki, Jonnu, Taysom, maybe hidden option C.
I would be. Oh my goodness! I think the trade is a W. I mean, getting rid of Kyle Pitts is a great thing. Trading away Tank Dell and getting Jamar Chase, who I think. Look, here's the thing: if you're out there in your home leagues and stuff, and your Jamar Chase manager is worried, go see what you can do, because this is the week against the Washington Commanders where it's going to happen. It's going to blow up because Chase, I mean, he missed so many practices this offseason. He was late to practice a handful of times. He just did not show up. He's not in football shape, and it's been a couple weeks now. Week 3 against the Commanders, where their secondary is already bad and banged up. He should dominate, and this should be the week where he establishes himself as a wide receiver 1 in fantasy. And that's where the buy window will close. I think this week is a great way to trade for Jamar Chase, and I think this is a great trade to make. But then looking towards your tight end situation, I want to say Taysom Hill. I'm pretty sure Joe's a Taysom Hill hater, if I'm not mistaken.
Hutch, that's crazy. You just rescinded your future invites to every single show.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy,
but I mean, the dude makes plays. He just does. I mean, and Dennis Allen loves him. He's had a few times this year where he's gotten some volume, and I know it's a risky play because you could end up with like 2 rushing attempts for 7 yards and no fantasy points, but your other options are Zach Ertz, Mike Gesicki, and Jonnu Smith. So I just don't think you're looking at great options here. So Taysom Hill's my guy. The Eagles defense has been quite frustrating to watch so far this year, and most times.
Those are facts.
Yeah.
I'm okay with Gesicki. I picked him up in a couple leagues. If Joe
Yeah,
Burrow's
mind him.
if Joe Burrow's gonna target him, he's been known to target the tight end before. It's not like this is a standout thing where T. Higgins is out and now he's hyper targeting, like he hyper targeted the tight end last week. He's been known to do this when they're fully healthy with guys like fucking Drew Sample and Tanner Hudson. Like he's been known to do this before.
The first 2 passes last week for the Bengals went to Drew Sample. Drew Sample fumbled the first one, then they went back to him on the second play.
That
was the first drive.
Not afraid to go to the tight end. I also don't hate Zach Ertz. I feel Gesicki is maybe more consistent week over week, but I don't hate Zach Ertz. Jaden Daniels seems to be taking to him because he's probably the open guy in that short to intermediate spot where Daniels is looking as a bailout. Jonnu Smith, I think right now is unplayable with Skylar Thompson. We'll see when Tyler Huntley comes into the lineup. That may be a different story, but Jonnu Smith maybe later. Taysom Hill never. Mike Gesicki, I would roll with him. But you're also probably streaming week to week.
I was gonna say I'm in the Zach Ertz camp, truthfully. I think,
and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, with T. Higgins back, I think the targets for Gesicki are gonna come way, way down because if you remember his spike week last week, there were no healthy wide receivers. So, well, Chase was healthy, but just non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. All right. Let's see. Next up is Brocal. This is SFB 14 scoring.
Ooh, I don't know what that is.
Going Josh Palmer, Deonta Foreman, or Andre Yoshivas. Pick 2. Hutch.
Oh gosh.
So you get
to be fair,
carry.
To be fair, this could answer itself.
Foreman's definitely one for me. You get the points per carry, points for first downs, and Foreman was, I believe he saw 60+% of the running back opportunities last week after Ford in week 1 dominated the backfield. It's clear that the Browns made a switch to Foreman this past week, and I think he's going to continue to be the lead back this week, and that's going to result in him being the first guy to start here. And then nextly, I would probably look towards Yoshivas. I mean,
yes,
the Washington secondary is just so bad, and he saw some targets last week. I would play him over Palmer, who's basically done nothing.
Joe.
Yoshi Foreman, not even close.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I will say it does worry me a little bit with Yoshivas with T. Higgins coming back, but
nope.
I think he can still get like an end zone target or 2 because that seems to be where they target him most.
Mm-hmm. And he'll get a few more when T. Higgins tweaks his hammy again. So
this is also true because we've seen that happen before too.
We have.
Oh, I'm back. I'm healthy. Oh, out after 2 plays. Thanks.
There you go. All right, Caesar needs help trading for a tight end. It's got Jaden Daniels, Alvin Kamara, Jahmyr Gibbs, St. Brown, Neighbors, Ferguson, Rice, solid bench, pretty stacked. Who should he trade to go and grab an elite tight end? So looking at all of these options, Hutch, who would you be looking to deal?
Well, to go get an elite tight end, I mean, who would I be buying low at tight end? It's really hard to, I think would look at Mark Andrews as a buy low candidate at tight end. Personally, that would be my look. I mean, Zay Flowers has dominated the target share, but Mark Andrews, after having a weird week 1 where the Chiefs defense zoned in on him, like he outsnapped, outrun, out everything likely by a significant margin last week. And I think that's only going to continue to grow. I think Mark Andrews is going to be more and more involved in the offense. So I would be, because the thing is, the elite tight ends, like I'm concerned about a lot of them. Like when you look at the guys we drafted as the top 6, 7 tight ends of the board, there's a lot of them that you can be very, very concerned about right now. Like Sam Laporta, I would not be buying low personally. He's fourth on team in targets right now. J-Mo is looking good. Amon St. Brown's looking good. Jameer Gibbs is out targeting Laporta. He's looking great. And then Montgomery's getting in the end zone a ton. It's really hard to trust what Sam Laporta could do this year. But Mark Andrews, if you are going after an elite tight end, Mark Andrews is the one I buy low. But I'm fine with Jake Ferguson, honestly. He's the clear number 2 target on the team when he's healthy.
Joe.
You're getting Brock Bowers or you're getting nobody?
Yeah, it's fair. I was going to say Brock Bowers, but it's hard to trade for him right now because
I agree. I agree.
You'd have to sell the farm for Brock Bowers. Not even a dynasty.
I completely agree. You probably need to do a couple things for it, but hell, I don't know. Like if you really want to buy low, the best buy low can is fucking Travis Kelce. He sucks right now. No. He fully sucks right now.
I do not want to buy Travis Kelce.
Hey, I don't either. But a lot of people probably do. And if you want to, dangle a lower asset out there. Fucking dangle Aaron Jones for Travis Kelce. Aaron Jones is never seeing the light of day in front of Alvin Kamara.
I was going to say, right now, you're getting the same amount of production from Cooper Kupp as you are with Travis Kelce. So why not dangle Cooper Kupp?
I was going to say Cooper Kupp as well, but Cooper Kupp's injured, so I don't know if he'll work. But like, dangle him if you want. But honestly, I'm okay with Ferguson. You know what you're getting from Jake Ferguson.
Yeah.
9 points a week. You can pencil in 9 points a week from Jake Ferguson. Maybe it's 15 with a touchdown. Who knows? But 9 points a week from Jake Ferguson.
Yeah.
9 points is a top 10 tight end every single week. Book it.
Honestly, what I would do, I would package Ferguson and Neighbors and use the elite target share to go get Bowers. That's what I would do.
I have a really hard time trading Neighbors away. I would see if you can do something else.
But that's the thing is that that is a solid trade to make. At wide receiver, you can stomach losing Neighbors. And especially because he's on such a bad offense. Like,
stop trading
another hot shot rookie.
Stop trading good players for tight ends. It's useless.
It's fair.
It's fully.
Just want to give a shout out to Gator. Love you, buddy.
I would have a hard time
trading away. This is the super chat function. This is how you skip the line and go straight to the top. So, All right.
Thank God for the question.
Next one, Smitty, 2 quarterbacks, super flex start 2. Purdy, Stafford, Fields. Side note: defense is San Fran. Maybe get another one. If you're playing
I'm fine with San Fran this week.
Yeah, no, San Fran's totally fine this week against the Rams. That offense is depleted with injuries. I called, like, I was on for Hooked on Fantasy, the podcast I did with Luke. I was calling Fields a bench this week because as efficient as he's been with the football, it's just he hasn't gotten in the end zone, and like the way he throws the ball down, he's throwing the ball downfield at an incredibly low rates. Like the fantasy upside just hasn't been there for him. But I don't want to play him over. I don't want to play Stafford over him. Stafford, with all the receiving options down with San Francisco's defense, you got to play against. That's an incredibly scary situation. I would want to play Purdy and Fields here.
Purdy and Fields. Yeah, you're not Stafford this week against that defense. I don't mind Stafford other weeks, but you just got to hope Fields finds the end zone once. That's all. Yep. That Chargers defense is not as scary as people are making it out to be. It really isn't.
Yeah, they've had a pretty cake schedule. So
no, yeah, no,
it really isn't. So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, the way that Pittsburgh's offense has been playing, very conservative. You're hoping for a touchdown, but you're also kind of just hoping for the rushing upside, which obviously Stafford doesn't have. I'm fine rolling with Fields and Purdy.
Yeah, right now, Justin Fields is throwing downfield 20+ yards on 7% of his attempts. Like that, it's really bad right now. They're not pushing the ball downfield.
All right, Danny, he's got Pacheco, RIP. But would you flex Hubbard, Terry McLaurin, Jordan Whittington from the Rams, or Pacheco's replacement, Carson Steele?
Guys, it's week 3. Who the fuck's Jordan Whittington and Carson Steele? That's supposed to be like week 11, week 12 options.
Yo. Oh, man. I mean, McLaurin right now is basically unstartable. I mean, the targets have kind of been there, but like it's not working. I'd be playing Carson Steele here. I think he's the full replacement. Kareem Hunt's going to be on the practice squad. I saw Kareem Hunt's not being elevated from the practice squad.
He's not being elevated. Yeah.
What's that?
He's not being elevated. You got it.
Yeah, he's not being elevated, so he's not going to play. And then you're looking at P. Ryan, who has seen 2 touches so far. Carson Steele has been the clear-cut backup for Pacheco, and I think he's going to get that volume. I'd play Pacheco. I mean, I play Carson Steele here.
Yeah, I mean, there's no better option. It's Carson Steele.
Yeah, it's Carson Steele.
Yeah, there's no better option, really. There truly isn't.
I was going to say, Hubbard's getting a full load. Also, not a great matchup against Las Vegas.
Love getting full load.
Steele's matchup against Atlanta sucks, too. Honestly, I tried out Steele just to kind of see what you got, because you're going to find out this week whether or not Kareem Hunt's really going to get involved. That's just my personal opinion. So I'm fine rolling with Steele. All right. Z Smitty, 10-man league. Doesn't think Jordan Love plays.
I don't either.
Would you drop him for Goff or Baker? As crazy as it sounds, rather have Love than Alec Pierce. One more good week from Pierce, and I could flip him. Hutch.
So the question is, do you drop Alec Pierce or do you drop Jordan Love for a new quarterback option? Because I don't think Love is going to play. I know like the speculation is there. I know the talk is there. I really don't think the Packers are going to force him out there after what they were able to do last week with Malik Willis. They were able to run the football at a really good rate and just let Malik Willis manage his game, and they weren't turning over the ball, and they won the game. So I'm thinking that that's going to be the game plan this week. I would want Baker over Goff. Baker's been on absolute fire. Goff has been pretty questionable for fantasy so far this year. And as much as I think the matchup could be fun, I want Baker. I would drop Alec Pierce. I would drop Alec Pierce for Baker Mayfield. I think Jordan Love, when he's back, will be a really good fantasy quarterback. And as much as I don't want to roster 2 quarterbacks, I don't want to drop Jordan Love and give him to somebody. That sounds not fun.
Joe.
While I agree, it's like cool to flip Alec Pierce.
I was going to say, I don't love banking on that idea, truthfully.
Yeah,
he does bring up, they do bring up that they were able to do the same thing with J.K. Dobbins.
Sure.
Yeah, so at least there's some level of precedent that they can make that happen. But I will also say that wide receiver is always a lot deeper than running back. So it's a lot easier to flip, spike week running backs versus spike week wide receivers.
So, yep. Smitty, here's this. If you're comfortable rolling with Baker Mayfield the rest of the year, then do it.
Yeah, that's
I think that's easy.
That's the question. I'm not. I wouldn't be confident. I would be much more confident rolling with Jordan Love the rest of the season. He looked really good in week 1. But that's the question you ask yourself is, who are you more comfortable rolling the rest of the season with, Baker or Jordan Love? And if you're okay with riding Baker the rest of the season, drop Jordan Love and see and roll the dice on Alec Pierce. Worst case, you try and get Love off waivers again and drop Alec Pierce because he's a bum. That's the worst case. So that's the question you ask yourself. Everyone here is going to say Love. They're more confident in Love. But if you like what you've seen from Baker and you've been a Baker fan, since he came out, by all means, roll with Baker. It's not like he's been bad at all this year. We just don't think he can be as consistent throughout the whole season.
Yeah, I agree. I think at a certain point, you hate to make that decision in week 3. Like, you don't want to just give up on somebody, especially somebody that was as highly drafted as Jordan Love. But Baker's firing on all cylinders. This Bucs offense looks really good. He looks really comfortable. And they've been a really good team in this league for the last 3-4 years. So I don't really see this Bucs offense just falling off.
Would you drop Terry McLaurin for Baker Mayfield and keep Jordan Love on your roster?
1,000%.
Okay, because he has Terry McLaurin on his bench. So I would drop Terry McLaurin, pick up Baker. Nobody's rushing to get Terry McLaurin. Yeah, and his IR spot has Nick Chubb. I was going to ask about IR, but he says Nick Chubb's in his IR spot, so obviously if Love is ruled out, you can't move Love there. So
yeah, I'd rather drop Terry McLaurin than Alec Pierce.
I agree.
Yep.
All right. From Damien, would you start Scary Terry or Cam Akers?
Everybody on 3. 1, 2, 3. Cam Akers. Okay,
easy.
That's an easy
You
one.
all said 3 different things. That's okay. Yeah. Akers. It's Akers. It's Akers. There you go.
Easy. Not even a question.
All right. From Tyler, would you start Jaden Reed, Ford? I'm guessing
Khalil Shakir.
Yeah. Nervous if Love doesn't play, which is probably why Reed is in the question here. But pick 2 out of these 3.
Ooh. Oh my gosh.
I hate Jerome Ford.
I don't want to play Jerome Ford. Yeah, Foreman really scared me last week for Jerome Ford. The volume was there for Foreman. The first 2 carries of the game went to Deonta Foreman. The Browns clearly made a switch intentionally to give Foreman the ball. I see that continuing this week. I want to start Reed and Shakir.
Yeah. Bank on a Jaden Reed. Dontavian Wicks caught the one in the flat for a touchdown.
He did.
Jaden Reed could easily as well just be that guy. In a bad week for Jaden Reed is probably a really good week for Jerome Ford. It's not pretty, but Jaden Reed and I like Khalil Shakir a lot this week, so I think Shakir makes up for what you're probably going to miss with Reed or Ford.
Yeah, I like Shakir as well. He's definitely one for me. Reed just has more upside potential, truthfully. Although, as much as we're talking about the shift with the Browns backfield, watch them shift right back and give Ford all the touches.
They could, yeah. No, they totally could. But the only reason I'm really worried is because they gave the rock to Ford in week 1. They gave him 80% of the running back opportunities. And then week 2, they said, yeah, no, we're not going to do that anymore. Let's give it to Foreman and see what happens.
And Ford was, I mean, he still had a really good week. I mean, it's 64 rushing yards. Like, it wasn't anything, to scoff at, but the passing work was way down. Yeah. And I think that, to me, is the most alarming fact, because that's why you want to play Jerome.
Yeah, because Ford saw 7 targets in week 1.
Correct.
And then he saw almost none of that week 2.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'm fine with Reed and Shakir as well. Next one here from Brunson. Would you guys start Drake London or Jameson Williams? Hutch.
Oh, man. I think if you asked me this a week ago, I would have said London. But I'm going to want to start Jameson Williams here. The Chiefs defense absolutely took Jamar Chase out of this game. And I think when you look at the Falcons offense, you're going to want to take out Drake London. You're going to want to get him out of the game. He's a very talented wide receiver. Jameson Williams is absolutely on a roll with deep plays all over the place, a lot of targets. I think you have to start JMO. It sucks to bench London because he's such a good player, but Jameson Williams is the guy I want to play.
Demarcus Robinson can beat a team deep, so can Jameson Williams. So.
Yeah.
Jameson Williams.
Yeah. JMO's seen 20 targets the last 2 weeks. It's pretty clear that Detroit wants to get him the football. I also love Drake London, but the way the Chiefs defense has really gobbled up wide receivers this year, give me Jameson Williams.
Yep.
All right. Would you drop any of the Chiefs running backs? So I'm assuming this would be Steele, P. Ryan, Hunt for Rome Odunze. Hutch.
P. Ryan, I'm fine with.
I would drop P. Ryan, yeah. And then given that Hunt is still in the practice squad,
he'll get called up next week.
He will get called up next week. But the fact that they're willing to leave him on the practice squad gives me a note of confidence that they have in Carson Steele. That's a coin flip for me between Hunt and Odunze, but you could drop P. Ryan definitely for Odunze.
P. Ryan for Odunze, easy.
Yeah, P. Ryan for Odunze, pretty easy for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, from Jerry, Cam Akers, Carson Steele, or Zamir White?
All intriguing options. I think I'd go White. The Panthers matchup is just too great. Antonio Pierce loves to run the football, and Zamir White has been the lead back, and especially in the running game and against the Carolina Panthers defense, who lost Derek Brown last week and are going to be so bad. Zamir White's the start.
If you're not starting Zamir White this week, you're never starting him. So you gotta, and if he doesn't do well this week, drop him. Somebody dropped him in one of my leagues. Somebody dropped him. So
if he doesn't do well this week, you can drop him.
You got to go with him.
That's exactly how I look at it as well. You have Zamir White to start him this week.
Start him today.
Because if you do not start him this week, you're
useless.
going to know what. If he can't beat the Panthers, he's pointless. He's useless for fantasy. All right, a couple more in here. Reminder, we go on for another 10 more minutes. So if anybody has last-minute start-sit questions, by all means, drop them in the chat, and we'll happily answer them. From Mark, we have Blake Corum. I believe that's Jalen Wright. Ray Davis. Y'all have a favorite running back stash amongst these three, or maybe somebody else that we're not mentioning here? Hutch.
I would stash Blake Corum. And I know Blake Corum hasn't been involved the first 2 weeks, and it's been frustrating. But the thing is, when you look at the other two backfields with Devon Achane and James Cook, those two players have been incredibly good. not just for fantasy, but on the field as well. They've been incredibly good running backs. Blake Corum, on the other hand, Kyron Williams has been a terrible running back. It's been bad. I mean, this Rams offense is to blame. The offensive line is not great, but Kyron Williams still, to me, just hasn't looked the level that James Cook and Devon Achane have. I would want Blake Corum, because if Kyron Williams continues to play bad, there is a world where Blake Corum starts to get more and more involved. I don't see Jalen Wright or Ray Davis getting even sniffing overtaking their starting running backs. Blake Corum, I can see it happening.
Joe.
I would put Corum and Davis 1A, 1B, and Jalen Wright can go in the trash. Jeff Wilson Jr. is getting the same amount of carries as this guy.
Yeah, and then Mostert's still there too.
Yeah, Jeff Wilson Jr. shouldn't be employed currently, and we love Jeff Wilson Jr. On this YouTube channel, but he shouldn't be employed over Jalen Wright. He shouldn't. And you're Jalen Wright. You have 4 yards. You have 4 yards. What happened? Even Devon Achane didn't have 4 yards in his first game. Like, in his first real NFL game. He didn't even, like, I think he's in the trash. I think people have been overhyping Jalen Wright. Corum and Ray Davis are 1A, 1B. Ray Davis was one of my favorite guys coming out of the combine and coming into this year. But Hutch is right. He's not going to overtake James Cook. Corum has a chance to do that.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what you're looking for, somebody that can overtake volume, not just a piece of the pie. And to me, that's Blake Corum, because Kyren Williams really hasn't looked like the Kyren Williams that we saw in 2023. I agree. All right, from Millie, which running back would you drop for? Wait, should I drop Tajay Spears and stash Ty Chandler, Trey Benson, Braylon Allen, Bucky Irving, Rico Dowdle?
Braylon Allen,
would you
easily.
Would you drop Tajay for any of these guys?
That's Braylon Allen easily. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was a big proponent this offseason of Braylon Allen's the best running back in this class. I mean, I was all over Braylon Allen this class.
Honestly,
I loved him.
Wisconsin running backs, baby.
I loved what we saw from Braylon Allen. I was really, really on him, and I've loved seeing what we've seen so far from him. He is a monster. I just wish he went to Dallas. I really just wish he went. That was my wishing well all offseason. Just put this kid in Dallas and see what he can do. But he landed in the 4th or 5th round of the Jets. It just sucks that he's there. But he's earned quite a few touches from this team. You saw drives where Breece Hall was primarily off the field and Braylon Allen was getting all the touches. So Braylon Allen look like somebody that has standalone value, because Rodgers is dumping off the football to the running back at an incredible rate, and Braylon Allen's getting plenty of those targets. Like, we've had 2 straight weeks where Mr. Braylon Allen's been a startable asset, and Tajay is, it looks like gross right now. Drop Tajay for Braylon Allen.
If Nathaniel Hackett's going to keep making Breece Hall managers lick shit off the fucking ground, then Braylon Allen.
Yeah.
Because Nathaniel Hackett
had 18 points this week.
And he should have had fucking 20. He should have had 27. Nathaniel Hackett. Oh, God. What blackmail does he have? And who has blackmail on Terry McLaurin? Because why the fuck is Terry McLaurin not playing better? Whose sister did he have sex with that they didn't like? And what did Nathaniel Hackett walk into? What room did he walk into to still have an NFL job? This is the same Adam Gase in the same fucking organization. How did Adam Gase keep his job this long? Nathaniel Hackett can fuck off. Why is Braylon Allen stealing? You can come in relief.
He's
of
so
Breece
good.
Hall.
He's so good.
And that's fine. That's fine. He can come in relief of Breece Hall, not take 2 of his fucking touchdowns in week 2 against the Titans. I won every league I had Breece Hall in, but it would have been even nicer to have 12 more fucking points in touchdowns. Fuck you, Nathaniel Hackett. You're going to go pick up Braylon Allen as long as he's shoving his ass down our throat. And he is good.
Look, you want to discredit Nathaniel Hackett all you want for taking touches from Breece Hall. It's working. Because Breece Hall, when he's on the field, looks more electric because he's fresh, he's ready to go. Angry. And when he's on the field, he's great. And then when Braylon Allen's on the field, he's also great. I'm
still angry.
I know you're still angry because you're a Breece Hall fantasy manager.
Don't reason with me.
But it works.
No.
It's working.
It doesn't work.
It's working really well.
No.
It doesn't work
put him on the field more.
It doesn't work for his fantasy team. That's why he can. But for the Jets, it's working.
All right. One more super chat here from Steven. So they lost Debo. It's only going to be for a few weeks. It's okay. Would you be trotting out Jawan Jennings in his place? He does have Achane. we'll get to the next part of that question. But would you fill in Jennings for Debo here? And to me, this really just depends on the rest of your options, Steven.
Yeah,
so
100%. But
feel free to drop those in the chat.
Yeah, definitely do that. But I mean, Jennings is a startable asset this week. Absolutely, I think so. I mean, we talked about early in the show how Brandon Ayuk should have a massive breakout this week. But if George Kittle, what's his injury status? I know I saw questionable. He's out, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Like if that is the official status that he's out, Juwan Jennings should be the number 2 target on the team, and that will be good for fantasy. Like Brock Purdy's number 2 target should be very relevant for fantasy football, and Juwan Jennings has had flashes, especially on like third downs. They trust him. They go to him on important plays. He's someone that has been very trustworthy for this 49ers offense. Obviously, like Joshua said, what are your options? But Jennings is very, very flex worthy this week to me. And then looking at the second part of the question.
I was gonna say we just got done shitting on Jalen Wright, so
yeah, I would not trade for Jalen Wright. Look, I loved Jalen Wright as a prospect. I really did. I thought he was a very good college running back. I thought he was great, but this is a chance backfield.
2024 pick.
This is a chance backfield. Yeah, this is not 2024 pick.
Start Jennings and you'll be okay. He has Shakir and Thomas, but I still think Jennings. And yeah, Jalen Wright can kick dirt this season at least.
Yeah.
When Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. retire next year, we might have a different story. But
agreed.
Yeah, if Wright's the number 2 back, like if he gets that opportunity, he could be great. But it's not
this year.
Right now. Not this year.
All right, let's try to get through these last few pretty quickly since I have to get to work. So, per Tyler's previous question, would you pick up to play Odunze or Foreman? Odunze, I think, is still dealing with the injury. I personally would go Foreman.
He's in full participant in practice. He's fine.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
don't start a single bear.
No injury designation.
You can't start a single bear though. It's Foreman. Everything in the Bears offense right now is terrible.
I am on the page right now. If you can't figure it out and it's the Indianapolis Colts defense, then you're really in trouble. So this to me feels like a Zamir White thing. Rome Odunze.
That's fair. All right, from Stonks, Waddle and Mason for Puka and Derrick Henry. Is this a good trade? Diggs would be the wide receiver 3, or yeah.
Ooh,
I'm fine with the Puka Derrick Henry side. Jalen Waddle's basically Puka Nacua right now.
Yeah,
with Skylar Thompson at quarterback.
Yeah, because Tua's on IR, so he's officially out for a while. So you're not going to be wanting to start Waddle any week, just like you're not going to be wanting starting Puka in your lineup every week because he's actually hurt. And then Mason with McCaffrey on IR is great. Derrick Henry's a good running back. Yeah, I'd be good with the Puka side here because when Puka comes back, he's a stud.
Mason's a dead asset in 3 weeks. Trade him.
Yep. Fair enough.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah. I think you could probably get better than Derrick Henry in some instances.
Probably.
Too.
But if
I
this is what's on the table.
But I don't hate this trade.
Yeah, if this is what's on the table, take it.
Mm-hmm.
Trade Jordan Mason in every league you have him. He's a dead asset in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that I do agree with.
Yeah, once we get the whispers of McCaffrey coming back, Mason's value is going to decline significantly. And also, he's had a few hot weeks, but he's a backup running back for a reason. There could we see running backs come in, flash a couple of games, and all of a sudden disappear. It wouldn't be surprising if that happens to Jordan Mason at one point. So before we get the whispers, before we see a bad game, Mason's a good person to trade away, just like Joe said.
All right. Flex spot. Andy, we love you.
Yeah, what's up,
Wan'Dale Robinson or Jerome Ford? Hutch.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's horrible.
That's Jerome Ford by default?
I think so, yeah, but that's horrible. Yeah, Dad, you're in trouble.
Give up?
Yeah, no.
Leave it.
Pull up the white flag, Dad.
Pull a Pete from the league.
I think. Wait. I think this is against me in our home league. He plays me in our home league this week. I think.
Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah, no.
Honestly, Hutch, I can't help you anyway because I think they both suck.
They're yeah. I think you have to play Jerome Ford, hoping that they go back to him this week. But because that offense, the Giants' offense, is going to be an absolute disaster this week against Cleveland. I would play Jerome Ford, but
you play Jerome Ford and you hope for that one fucking 65-yard touchdown. That's it. That's what you're hoping for. Truly.
I was going to say Wan'Dale target volume from week 1 absolutely disappeared last week when they said league neighbors to the moon. So, really hard to trust either. At least one I know is going to see some more rushing. So I'll lean Ford in this spot, but I don't love either.
It's not pretty.
This is the least encouraging we've ever been to a question on this show yet.
Yeah,
sorry,
right.
Dad.
All right, Woods Girl, been a while. Welcome back. full point PPR, start 3 of these 4. So basically, who are you sitting?
Devin Singletary. Next question. Devin
Cam
Singletary.
Akers,
Next
big
question.
Singletary.
Yeah,
I mean,
would
immediately.
Singletary, yeah. He had a good game last week against the Commanders, but he's the one to bench here.
Immediately. Anytime I see Devin Singletary in a question and I can sit one, it's Devin Singletary.
That's right. We do like Cam Akers this week. Look, Diggs and Cooper, or I don't know. God, they're iffy too. But
you're gonna start Devin Singletary over those guys
against the Browns? No chance.
No, not even a little bit.
No chance.
A little bit. Yeah, it's rough. All right. Back to Millie's question: if they can't get Braylon Allen, how we feel about Ty Chandler? Don't really trust Aaron Jones to stay healthy.
I think he's meh.
Yeah, he's a fine player. He's come in, at times to, spell Aaron Jones. If Jones does get hurt like he has the last couple of years, we've seen that a little bit from Aaron Jones. He is an older running back. So if we do see that, Chandler could be a very valuable asset in fantasy. We saw that down the stretch last year that he was a solid running back option. But if you can't get Allen, I think remembering your options, there was Benson there was Chandler. I would probably want Chandler next after Allen.
So normally by this point in time, Aaron Jones is like hurt. He's out for a few weeks, XYZ. Do we not think that this is a Green Bay problem? A.J. Dillon out for the season. Marshawn Lloyd, IR. Is this a Green Bay problem and like a medical staff issue?
It might be a Green Bay
truly,
problem.
Like they have not been good with running back health over the last few seasons. Like this could be a Green Bay issue. So Aaron Jones has looked good. Again, if I don't get Braylon Allen, I mean, yeah, if you can't and you want to get a backup, Ty Chandler doesn't hurt, but he doesn't blow me away. But if he's gonna get volume, sure.
Yeah, I think all those guys, truthfully, outside of Dowdle, who I really could not care less about,
Dowdle
I'm
sucks.
perfectly fine with. I think Bucky Irving is going to get so much more involved in that Bucs offense because Rachaad White just sucks. Ty Chandler, I think, is fine. Again, I don't think he's anything sexy. Benson is up there with Allen, probably has the most standalone value if the starter goes down, which we've all seen James Conner do. But
he hasn't played a healthy season yet. He hasn't played a full
exactly.
Exactly.
It's only a matter of time. But again, he's looked great so far. So
yes.
All right. Last couple that I want to get through before we close this out. Need a flex spot for a 14-team PPR. Deonta Foreman, Jalen Naylor, Yoshi Voss, and then which defense? So let's start with the flex spot.
Play a defense.
Hey, 14,
man.
14.
I am so. Why am I tempted by a defense? Is that crazy, Joe, at all, or no?
I don't know that you can put the defense in the flex spot, but
I don't know if you.
That's why I was saving that for last. I assume they probably need a defense to start.
It's probably a defense choice. Either Seattle Chargers defense. Okay, never mind. Okay, I'm stupid.
I was trying to read this as a 2-part.
Yeah, no, I read it as a full 1-part question.
Seattle's defense.
Yep, Seattle's defense definitely against Seattle.
Yoshi. Seattle's defense and Yoshi.
In a PPR, it's Yoshi. Yeah, I know. If it was like a standard,
Foreman's getting no passing work.
Yeah,
Foreman's
getting nothing.
Yeah,
no. Man, the Giants are so bad.
Not against Derek Stingley and the Houston defense.
Stingley really hasn't played well this year.
So,
I'm making a switch. I play Foreman. The Giants defense has played horrific ball, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns are running the football all game and Foreman gets in the end zone. I think Foreman is a good high likelihood of touchdown this week. And Yoshi, as much as you want to bet on a couple targets going his way, a couple ends and targets going his way, like it didn't convert at all last week. Like it didn't really convert.
I'm fine. I'm fine if you want to go Foreman over Yoshi. Honestly, I'm fine with that. Naylor's the no for me.
Yeah, Naylor's the no.
Kamari Lassiter looked good last week. Like
Lassiter did look good. I agree with that.
Yeah, man, he looked good.
Like they have a good secondary. So and Jalen Naylor's a wide receiver 3 for a reason.
Except he's the wide receiver 2 because Jordan Addison's out.
And isn't Jefferson out too? Did I miss that?
No,
he's okay. Well, he's a wide receiver 3 in the depth chart for a reason. So you know who he's going to see? Kamari Lassiter, the better of the 2 corners who we've talked about today. So I don't like Naylor this week.
Fair enough. I mean, I still Yoshi Voss is the upside play for me in 14 team. That's kind of what you want. So I would go Yoshi in Seattle. All right. Last question from Peter. Cam Akers, Montgomery, or Rashad White in a PPR.
I would play Montgomery here. I mean, I would play Montgomery. The Lions Cardinals game, with how explosive both those offenses are and how weak both those defenses are in some areas, this could be a really fun, high scoring game. Montgomery's likely getting in the end zone this week. I would play Montgomery.
I don't disagree. It's just there's no competition for Cam Akers.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard because you have Jahmyr Gibbs in that backfield, but Montgomery's he's been great, even with Jahmyr Gibbs averaging about 17 fantasy points a game. I mean, that's what he's at right now, right? About 17 fantasy points a game. So,
I agree. I agree with that, and I think Monty will find the end zone. I agree with that. I think Akers catches more passes, and I think he has more upside there.
It's fair enough.
So I'll go Akers. Rashad White's the definite no. There's your answer, Peter.
Rashad White is 1,000% the definite no. I agree with that.
The definite no.
I can't sit Montgomery. I love Akers upside this week. I can't sit Montgomery. All right, I'm going to try to fly through these last few because they just keep popping in the chat, even though we're trying to get off of here. So.
Quick. You got it.
Go.
Trade Dobbins for Debo.
Yes.
Yeah, I would do that. I actually kind of like Dobbins, but I would do that.
He is active, most likely, until he tweaks his hammy in the pregame.
If I package Bowers and Dobbins, how high am I aiming for a running back?
RB1.
Top 8 kind of running back. Yeah, you're looking for a monster, a running back.
Yeah, you want a monster because Brock Bowers is the tight end one. So.
Yep. Yeah, you're looking for like a Bijan Achane, literally top tier running back.
Yeah, you need top tier. Also, don't trade Brock Bowers, but you would need to get
That's
the big thing.
You would need to skyrocket your running back value at that point.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. From Tyler, would you drop P. Ryan Gesicki to get a Zinze and Shakir?
If you have a tight end to play over Gesicki, yeah.
Yep. If you don't have a tight end to play, then don't pick up Shakir, keep a Dunze, and play Gesicki.
Jonathan mentions he does also have Trey McBride.
Yeah.
Okay, then that's fine. You can look to trade one of them. That's fine. I'd look to trade McBride personally, but yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
If there's no reason for you to have two tight ends.
No reason. Yeah, there's no reason.
Trade one of them. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, and with that is Start Sit Different Day. Reminder, help our sister site, Women of Fantasy Football, out. Go to TrophySmack.com/WOFF, WOFF. Do all of your achievement-based shopping from that unique affiliate link. And from now until the 24th, use promo code WOFF at checkout, WOFF, and get yourself a free championship ring with the purchase of a belt or trophy. Hutch, remind everybody where they can find you and everything you're working on.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks, y'all, for having me on the show. It was fun answering your questions. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at HutchinsonB_FF. Check out Hooked on Fantasy. Me and Luke Sawhook's Fantasy Football Pod, wherever you get your podcasts. And check out the work I do with Footballguys and Dynasty League Football.
You can follow Joe at Joe_Zollo, myself at The1Hudsonian. But of course, ClubFantasyFFL.com is where everything lives, and on our socials, at Club Fantasy FFL. This has been Start Sit Different Day. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern, and we will answer all of your Start Sit questions. We will see everybody next week. Take care.